Just a little part, but a very important part of the book. The most surprising plot twist was discovering what happened in 1986 when Spanish language television in the United States suddenly became much more than entertainment. Univision's predecessor had evolved into a powerful communication channel reaching a fast growing Hispanic community that was increasing not only in size, but also in economic and political influence. At that moment, powerful interest realized that controlling a Spanish language television meant influencing one of the most important emerging audiences in America. What followed was a dramatic battle involving politics, business pressure, regulation, media power that ultimately forced the network's original owners to sell. Between the 1960s and the 80s, there was a quiet emergence of a bilingual America that politics and mainstream culture still struggle nowadays to fully describe. Back then, there were only about 3.5 million Hispanics in the United States. Today, the U.S. is the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. Spanish International Network, which later became Univision, was the only national Spanish language television network at the time, and it became a powerful catalyst for a community that was growing exponentially every year. One of the reasons this history matters is because there are sectors of society that prefer collective amnesia over historical understanding. It is more convenient to frame Spanish language and Latino identity as something new or foreign, rather than acknowledge how deeply rooted they already are in the American story. My book argues that Spanish in the United States is not a temporary phenomenon or a recent political debate. It has been part of the country's social, cultural, and economic fabric for generations, and understanding that history helps us better understand the identity, resilience, and growing power of the Latino community and the use of Spanish language today. Since I was young, I was obsessed to know everything about institutions that shape how societies understand themselves, religion, and then media. Over time, that curiosity turned into me becoming a media owner. Once in the United States in early 2000s, I decided to explore the idea of a Spanish-speaking media outlet in Boston, Massachusetts. And in order to prepare myself, I started a research about the history of Univision, because they were the most successful Hispanic media company at the time. What I didn't anticipate was that this journey would lead me into a story that had remained largely untold, not because it was invisible, but because I think it had been treated as if it were. The Spanish-speaking audience in the United States has long existed outside mainstream media narrative, but never outside the attention of power. The book emerged from that realization, and at a certain point, it became clear to me that telling this story with every detail, I was uniquely positioned to do. My main advice is to understand that once the main piece is finished, the publishing journey becomes deeply entrepreneurial. There are many additional phases that require broader know-how. Editing, design, translation, distribution, publicity, positioning, and in a nonfiction, fact-checking is also extremely important. Partnering with experienced people can significantly mitigate financial and operational risks. For nonfiction writers, especially, hybrid publishing can offer an interesting middle ground between independence and strategic collaboration in both the editing process and the promotional process. I'll try to answer this question the least emotional way. Did you know that less than 3% of Hispanic literature is translated into English? And if you add the English written works, you can add about 2 to 3% more. Even though Hispanics and Latinos make up roughly 20% of the United States population, our representation among published authors in English remains disproportionately small. That means many English-speaking readers in the United States still don't have access to voices, histories, and perspectives like mine. So winning this BookLife Prize means a lot to me, not only personally, but because it helps bring this history, this important history and perspective to a much broader audience. It also puts the book in front of journalists, reviewers, booksellers, and readers who may otherwise never have discovered it. Hopefully, it sparks even greater interest in Hispanic authors and stories in the years ahead. Thank you.